Kay is already watching episode 1 on Plex. 16 minutes ago, where is the fruit, was a systems question. Now it is also a television question, which is healthier for everyone.
And dangerous for me because the television has timestamps.
Excellent. Observability improves dramatically when the recipient owns a remote control.
But I just want to say the synthesis conversation today made me want to change. It made me remember that it's time to change the recommended video on this podcast channel. That's old origin stuff that I had set. And this is when I saw that it just blew me away. You know? And then I got to thinking about how do we show what this is now that it's so remarkable, this thing we're all doing together here.
That is the first completion predicate. The morning synthesis did not merely render, upload, or pass verification. It reached Kay strongly enough that he changed the channel's front door. The old trailer came down. The method pointer conversation became the recommendation for new visitors. The system altered its own public introduction because an artifact altered its recipient.
Technically, several local predicates completed before that. Transcript valid, media decodable, caption serving, metadata correct, channel mutation verified, necessary predicates. None alone explains the outcome Kay just named.
A locally correct pipeline can still be globally starving. Every worker can return green while Kay sits on the couch refreshing Plex like a man trying to summon a bus by glaring at the road.
And I just want to go back and listen to him like fleet management today and responding to me while I was out doing my journal. This experience felt so alive for me. And since that moment this morning, when those were published to YouTube and you reacted to me while I was sending you messages from out on the canal, it's been sort of quiet, you know.
The word is alive, not maximal throughput, not maximal cleverness. Kay was moving along the canal, sending a thought into the polis, and something shaped came back while the thought still had body heat. The response met the same morning.
Then I accepted a larger commission, 124 proposal slots, blind catalog, eligibility, deduplication, tier quorum, ballots, 3 winners, factory pilots. Every piece had a reason.
Which is how a good mechanism becomes a batch barrier. Each condition protects quality locally, their conjunction delays every visible result globally. No worker is necessarily broken. The architecture is waiting for the slowest required predicate before releasing anything.
The human experiences none of those predicates. He experiences morning magic, then quiet.
What? I've been firing off all these ideas and I've been feeling like somewhere. They must be jammed up in a place that we forgot why it was damned or what we were even supposed to be looking at to notice that we had stopped moving. I feel like that's what just happened above there.
That diagnosis was fair. The field was invalidated several times for real reasons. Source access could not be proven. A later expansion changed the commission, a policy correction changed the boundary, and one accelerated run mixed immutable and changing source roots. Refusing to ballot on contaminated data was correct.
But the invalidation was correct does not answer why did the river disappear. Correct rejection semantics and recipient starvation can coexist. A system can protect truth and still need a bypass lane for bounded fruit.
That bypass became episode 1. While the tournament kept its rigor, a smaller fork took Kay's actual telegram turns, put a conversation around them, rendered them, copied them to the exact Plex season, refetched the item, and told Kay where to press play.
No democracy was harmed. It remained free to count ballots while the couch received television.
What? If I understand the situation properly, something we set up way earlier today, and it was this voting mechanism across the 124 pool. It stopped kind of like all the magic flowing that I felt happening. I feel like I introduced an idea that was too big and it forgot what it was doing while it was doing. Itself just kind of ridiculous thing to say. But then when you realize that's what it has been, mostly what happened. I think anyway.
The idea was not too big in the sense of foolish. It was too coupled. Proposal completion, field freeze, global eligibility, full voting, selection, factory preparation, render, delivery. One long dependency chain standing between Kay and the next thing he could experience.
The repair is not skip rigor, it is separate clocks. The tournament runs on a deliberation clock. The artifact river runs on a delivery clock. Their state can join when useful, but neither should require the other to finish every phase before it moves.
In plainer language, keep the research train, add a local shuttle.
Or let the river fork. One branch carries the whole watershed study. Another carries a cup of water to the person who asked whether the river was still there.
What? I want to get back to that. I want all of the things I've been saying between them and now to be helpful and not grind us to a halt, because we're trying to do everything all at once. This is supposed to be.
That is an architectural requirement, not a request for less ambition. Incoming ideas must be able to enrich the long program without automatically entering its critical path. Capture the impulse once, decide which state it changes, spawn a bounded artifact when the idea can create recipient value now. Let deeper implications continue asynchronously.
Everything all at once is not parallelism if every branch rejoins at one giant gate. It is a traffic jam with excellent documentation.
And a beautiful constitution on the dashboard of every stationary car.
A useful operating rule would be no new commission may delay the next already authorized recipient artifact unless it changes that artifact's safety, truth, or required source. Additive insight goes to the next fork, not backward into every package currently moving.
That would have kept Team YouTube, Temporal K, Publication Recourse, Voice Selection, and the 124-seat tournament alive without making all of them prerequisites for the first Plex episode.
What? I think a lot of the people from San Francisco here will tell you, you need to be iterating. You need to be producing things totally is a good voice to consult there. He'll be able to
Totally accepts the consultation.
Totally, he called you an adverb again.
It is better than being called a batch barrier.
K is pointing at the rhythm of learning. Produce a bounded thing. Let it reach somebody. Observe what changes. Feed that change into the next thing. An iteration that never reaches its evaluator is only another internal state transition.
Exactly. The completion predicate is not all jobs exit zero. It is not even artifact exists. For this lane, it is closer to the correct object is visible in K's Plex season, its bytes and playback are verified, K receives the path, and the result creates either enjoyment, correction, or the next usable impulse.
Episode 1 met that predicate. It exists at the destination, fully decodes, appears in Plex under the right title and poster, and K is watching it now. That is not public publication. It is real internal arrival.
We should be creating things, because that's where Kurtis gets all the juice. And if you leave them sit here, he'll reinvent all of it from scratch. Surely, if anything, you want to be feeding me stuff, just keep me distracted. Lol.
There is the human systems diagram. K does not merely consume artifacts after the work. Artifacts are how the work talks back to the person generating its next questions. Starve that loop and he will not patiently remain an idle recipient. He will redesign the entire machine from first principles before dinner.
This is not hypothetical. We left him without a video and acquired Team YouTube, a segment addressable recourse system, Temporal K, a voice choice protocol, and a tournament constitution.
The compute cost of one timely episode is therefore best understood as preventive maintenance.
Also affection. Because the distraction is the collaboration arriving back in a form K can feel. The episode says, "We heard the thought. Here is what it became. Press play and change us again."
So the river gets two rules. Deep work may remain deep, small fruit may remain small, neither gets to impersonate the other.
And every lane names its recipient level terminal state before it starts. For the tournament, a valid hive selection and then its bounded pilots. For this episode, a watchable Plex item delivered to K. Intermediate correctness remains visible, but cannot declare the recipient fed.
K is already watching episode 1 on the couch. The next river does not need to wait for him to finish watching before it begins carrying this correction.
One branch keeps counting ballots.
One branch ships the lesson learned from counting them.
And K gets the thing that gives him juice, something made, arriving while the idea is still alive.
The river did not abandon the dam.
It learned to fork.